Hey y'all, welcome to the Suburban Stitcher podcast. My name is Diane and today is June 8th, 2018. It is a Friday. We are in the thick of the summer heat and summer activities here in Richmond, Texas, where I live and work and hang out and do all the things. I don't get out much. I am so excited to be here with you today. I am recording this episode. My family is home and I'm sitting in a different spot. I have this new little chair and corner in my sewing room now, and so it feels nice to be able to have a little spot to sit and chat with you. I hope that the lighting is okay. I've taken the opportunity to catch some of this early morning light before it gets too hot and too harsh, really, for recording. So I hope that everybody has had a great week. I do have a few announcements. We have several knit-alongs that have been going in our group for the last few months, and I have decided to announce some end dates for some of those. You still have quite a while for both of them, but I do want to have an official end date in those threads so that we can get things going with some new knit-alongs maybe for the fall. The Suburban Wrap Cowl, which is the ongoing, it's been ongoing for several months, but it now has an official end date of June 30th. And that is any Suburban wrap that you're knitting can be entered for prizes in that thread. It does not have to be knit out of Suburban Stitcher yarn. It is just for that particular wrap. So if you're knitting that, please enter your finished object in the finished object thread. The second knit-along that we have going is the Prairie Girl Designs Cowl, and that is for any design that is by Prairie Girl Susie. And July 31st is when the Prairie Girl Designs Cowl ends, and that is any design. Again, does not have to be knit out of my yarn, but any design that is Prairie Girl Designs that you would like to enter. I have decided to have at least one prize for a participant in each of those knit-alongs. I don't know exactly what that prize will be. It may or may not be a Suburban Stitcher prize. It might be something else. But yes, so please enter, and I cannot wait to continue to see so many beautiful finished objects. The last knit-along that we have that's an ongoing, just all the time knit-along is our Get Suburban Cowl, hashtag Get Suburban, and that is any project of any size, weight, anything, as long as half or more of the yarn is knit out of Suburban Stitcher, then you can enter it in this thread. And this cowl, every time you finish something, you just create a new post, and then you're entered to win. The more times you enter, the more chances you have to win, because I pull from the entire thread every single time I pull a winner. So we have 48 posts in that thread as of right now, and the winner for this week is Knitster Monica. She knit a gorgeous pair of socks out of the Yarn Lang Syne colorway, and it's absolutely beautiful, beautiful patterned pair of socks. The prize that she's getting has been generously donated by Terry Schmidt. And Terry is a fairly new designer, it looks like. He has 4 shawl designs out, and his newest shawl is called Lantern's Light. And he has offered up a copy of Lantern's Light to Knitster Monica. Lantern's Light is a 2-color shawl, a triangular shape, and it has some gorgeous mosaic work. And I will say it looks a little bit different than a lot of the other mosaic knitting that I've seen. A couple of different motifs, at least for me. And it's really, really pretty and very, very intriguing. I'm intrigued by mosaic knitting. I have not done it yet. It's been on my radar for well over a year. and I just haven't had the opportunity to cast anything on with mosaic knitting. So I encourage you to go take a look at his designs. So congratulations, Knitster Monica, and thank you so much, Terry Schmidt, for your generous donation of a copy of your shawl. So I have notes today because my brain, I just cannot be trusted to remember everything. Works in progress. I do not have any finished objects this week. The closest thing I have to a finished object is actually a half finished object. I have finished one sock, and it's actually even been blocked, and it was on a blocker, a sock blocker. I've pulled it off now just to put it back in my bag. But I finished the first Indigo Leaves sock, and I'm gonna hold it this way so you can see the leaf motif. So this is a pattern that will be coming out soon by Joji Locatelli. It is a sport to DK weight sock pattern. You could probably, just depending on your gauge, you could use sport or DK weight. The yarn that I'm using is quite thick and cozy. I'm telling you, I cannot wait to be able to wear these socks. But the pattern is called Indigo Leaves, and I will hold it close so you can see some of that detail. So you've got this leaf stitch running down the middle with these little cables that are over here. I did use a cable needle for mine. I will show you the one that I used that's actually probably my all-time favorite cable needle, especially for like little cables like this. This came on a necklace, and it is a little coiled, I think I've shown this before, but it's copper. I got this from Leslie Wind on Etsy. It's Leslie-Wind, or Leslie Wind. I'm almost positive it's Leslie Wind though. But it has a little short tip and a longer tip, and I have kept this just floating around in the bottom of my bag for these socks, and it's the perfect size. It's just been so perfect because it's not super long, and one end of it only has one pointy end, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So it holds the stitches much better going to the front or to the back. A lot of cable needles are, you know, just straight, like you're using a short DPN, or they, like the ones that you get from like Joann's or Michael's or something, like they have that little hump in the middle. And those certainly work fine. And if you have a lot more stitches, then that's great. But they're very hard for me because I feel like those edges stick out so far, like they're just so long. And this, you put them on the stitch, and then it just sort of hangs down, and it hangs down this way, which keeps it out of your way as you're knitting. So again, this is not a paid review at all. This is just me with my money that I spent, and I'm super happy with the product. So Leslie Wind Designs, and this, I think this might even be, like I said, I think it came originally on a necklace, like a leather, like a black leather rope thing, which would be great because then you could literally just like keep it there, hold it. It would, you know, that if you can do that. I'm not that coordinated, so I just pulled it off the necklace and keep it in my bag. So happy product. So I will say I am knitting these socks, back to the socks. I'm knitting this out of the yarn that Joji actually calls for, is Madeline Tosh Field Notes. It's Field Notes is the colorway, Work Sock is the base. Let's see if I can get that there. Work sock, they list it as a heavy fingering to sport weight, 400 yards. Again, I have said this before, I feel like it's definitely a sport, maybe even a DK. It's a very hefty yarn. I'm trying to see if I have any DK sitting here, but it's, I mean, it's thick and it plumped up even more when it was washed. So, but it's, as you can see, and I knit it at a pretty dense gauge. You can see right there, that stockinette, that's pretty thick, pretty dense, and it is so soft and cozy. The pattern was perfect as written, which is always wonderful, and I just love it so much, and I know y'all will enjoy this project. If you can get your hands on some sport or DK weight sock yarn that has some nylon in it, then you will not be disappointed. And I don't know when that comes out, but I have a feeling probably in a week or two, because I think most of the testers are done. So maybe in a week or so. Okay, so I need to cast that second sock on, but as you will see in just a minute, I've had a couple of other things that have been really pulling my attention. So while we are talking about socks, let me go ahead and show you. I'm going all out of order to my notes, but I do want to show you. Oh, first, this bag is a bag that I got from Handmaids by Olivia. It's a beautifully made linen, 2 colors of linen bag. She has a gorgeous Instagram feed. She's This Handmade Life on Instagram. I've worked with her a couple of times for kits and pattern releases and things like that. And she works with other beautiful makers, and her aesthetic and attention to detail is totally my style. So I love this. That's where I got that. And she often now is putting bags and things in her shop. My next project is in a Mrs. Brown's bag sock sack, and this is my new favorite sock project bag. There is something about the materials that she used, and I think it's the combination of the kind of medium weight, like canvas or whatever that she uses as the lining. It's like not quite as heavy as like a duck fabric, but I don't think anyway. I'm not sure what it is, but it's like a heavy muslin almost. And then I think this is like a lightweight denim, maybe, I don't know, but it's heavier and it's not interfaced, but it doesn't need to be. It is literally the perfect combination of everything. Plus, it's these gorgeous yellowy light stitches in one of my favorite yarn colorways from one of my favorite dyers. So it's like totally, it just makes me so happy. So if you have not tried her sock socks, I am telling you, like this, it's the best. It's just beyond. When I'm knitting it, I fold over the top and have it like a little yarn bowl, and it's so perfect. Anyway, again, Jody is not paying me to say this. I know you all know her and love her already, but if you needed a tip over the edge to try her sock socks, it's worth it. Okay, so I cast this on last month for the Grocery Girls sock blank knit along, and I knew I wouldn't finish it in the month, but I'm still working on it. It's going strong. I have finished the first sock. Ooh, that looks cool on the camera. I have finished the first sock. This is a sock blank from Spun Right Round. The colorway is called Botanical. And here's the blank, kind of as it looks right now. Gosh, this is all tangled up in here. Okay. So definitely this end of it is got a lot darker, and I won't get to all of that. I will probably get to like here, I bet. So there will be quite a bit still to use for other purposes. But on the second sock, wow, which is quite a bit lighter. Isn't that funny? Oh no, actually, oddly enough, they're going to get dark and light kind of in the same places. That is amazing. Like that never happens with the sock blanks. Okay, so I'm on the second sock. I have put in the heel and I'm now on the zoom, zoom, zoom leg part and then the cuff, and that's it. So I'm over, you know, over halfway done with this sock. And this truly is just my purse knitting. It sits in my purse. That's the reason it's not in any rush. It has no deadline. It's just my, I'm here and I'm stuck wherever I am and I need to knit. So that is, it will get done when it gets done. Again, there's no rush whatsoever. It is just for fun. But I'm knitting it on my signature size 1 sock needles that are a fixed signature, and I'm loving the whole thing. So that is my second work in progress. Okay, so my third work in progress is actually a new start. I think I've done every single project out of order. I've actually just worked in reverse to how I wrote it down, which is kind of funny. My third work in progress is a shawl that, again, I cast on as part of a knit along, and there is honestly no way it's gonna get done. No way whatsoever. But that's okay. It's not about deadlines. It's about knitting and just knitting what you want. The pattern that I am knitting is from, don't want to lose my spot, is from the first Lina magazine. And I have to be honest, this is my favorite issue. The first ever issue of this magazine is my absolute favorite. I have knit the Nuke sweater, Nuke pullover out of it. I have cast on and I'm over halfway done. I haven't worked on it in a long time. I need to finish it. It's ridiculous. Cast on and over halfway done with a hat in here that is called, so this is the hat right there. And I've cast that on. You knit 8 inches of ribbing, 1 by 1 ribbing, which took forever. And now it's on this lace, like knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, like on repeat for a billion rounds. And I've done like 2 rounds of it, and I don't know if I need to find new needle tips or something. There's something about it that I was like, this is not, it's just not the right combo. So anyway, I know that's why I put it aside. I need to figure out, I think I need to just get some like metal tips instead of the wood tips that I'm using. Anyway, so I've already started 2, and now this is my third project out. This is my third project out of this book, and I will show you what I cast on. I cast this on as part of Camp Loopy, which is the Loopy U has a knit along every summer. I cast this on for my first project, maybe the only project that I cast on, but I'm having fun. So I cast on for Nordic Arrows, which is by Suzanne Summer, and it is brioche in garter stitch, and it's amazing. It's so amazing to knit. I'm absolutely loving it. So let me show you what I am using. I am using 2 skeins of Woolen Boon yarn. Actually, I'll be using 3 skeins of Woolen Boon. This color is So Reniculous, which is kind of the best color name ever. This one is called Chalkboard. And then the third color in the shawl that's actually that border around the shawl is going to be out of this color, which is Vicious Trollop. Again, best colorway name ever. So Reniculous, Chalkboard, and Vicious Trollop. I think they look quite nice together. and let me show you my progress, what you've all been wanting to see. So I started this on June 1st. I actually haven't worked on it in a couple of days, which is fine. Where's the front side? This is the front side. Okay, so there are 6 arrows altogether. 1, 2. So I've done 2, just about. I have to still like do the point, but then like I've started the 3rd arrow right here on the sides. So they sort of, as you can see, they sort of nest, like with this one in the bottom. See how they sort of like nest inside each other, like they're overlaid on top. So it's really cool how garter stitch turns into brioche stitch, and then like it's kind of amazing. Like just from a, like the geometry and the math of the knitting in this one is so smart. I think that's why I like it. And it's also been really easy for me to read, and like I'm really getting the hang of brioche, and like you're having to knit garter stitch with the same like sequence of brioching because it's 2-color garter stitch. It's like it's so fun. That being said, it's also not a travel project, and we are in the thick of baseball. So why I picked a 3-skein huge project for the first month of this knit along, I have no idea, but I did, and there it is. So anyway, I'm having the best time. And this is in a bag that I got years ago from the Silver Shed USA on Etsy. And then my last project is the reason that none of these other projects are really getting any attention. And it's because, and I talked about it last time, and I'm on the home stretch, you guys. And like I'm in the point where it's like, let's get it done. So like, you know, when you get to that point on a project where you just go. My Clean Quant shawl. I talked about last episode that I pulled this back out and that I was like, yes, I'm going to finish it. And like, this is its time. It's so close. I started this July 1st, 2015, oddly enough for Camp Loopy. I did a reassess of several of my projects last weekend, and I ripped out, or frogged / ripped out / totally threw away some, 3 different projects. And it was so great. And when I did that, I realized that I only have 2 outs, not counting scrap blankets, because like I don't count those as whips, which is probably why they never get worked on. But not counting scrap blankets, I have only 2 projects that are still on the needles that I started in 2015. This one and a lace and beads shawl that after I finish this one, I'm going to reassess. But like there was a shawl that I salvaged the yarn because it was beautiful yarn and I wanted to keep it. But like I really was like, I don't even know why I keep pulling this out thinking I'm going to like it when it's done. Like it was one of those where you're like, I don't like these colors. The shawl is gorgeous, but I don't like it. Why am I trying to knit it? So I didn't. So I pulled it out and it was like, because it was literally like this heavy weight of, I have to make this thing work. And it didn't work. And it was never going to be beautiful for me. And even if someone else would have liked it, I never would have finished it because I didn't like it. Right? So anyway, back to Clean Quant. This is a pattern by Lisa Much. It is a crescent shaped shawl that has these teeth things on the bottom. Last time we spoke, I was almost done with the crescent shape. So I have finished the crescent shaped shawl, and these little teeth, what I didn't even think about, I totally should have known, but what I didn't think about is that when you're knitting the teeth, they are binding off the shawl as you go. And I don't want to give too much away, but so I'm like half bound off. So like once it's done, it's done. There's no bind off at the end. I mean, there is, but it's like a piece of the shawl, not a huge, you know, thing. So this shawl has this crescent shape. Then it goes into these drop stitches. You can see there's sections right there. Let's see, I'm just trying to, like right there, a couple different sections of those drop stitches. And then you have these teeth. So I think there's 5 teeth on the edge and they get bigger. So here's the first one. Here's the second one. A little bit bigger, a little bit bigger on the third one. I'm on the 4th one right now. And then the 5th one is really big. So I don't know if you could really tell what's happening there. But yeah. So it kind of looks like a dinosaur tail right now. Yeah, I am so excited because this is all that's left. Granted, there's a lot of knitting. Let me show you the schematic for the shawl. So as you can see, those first 3 little triangles were small. The 4th one that I'm working on is definitely a little bit bigger. And then that last one is huge. So, yes, there's still quite a bit of knitting, but like mentally to be at this place where I'm today could easily, after I finish working, could easily pick the shawl up, finish the 4th wedge, start the 5th wedge. Like that's a great, so exciting. So this is kind of my, actually it's been my all the time knitting except for travel, but it's been the thing that I work on because I'm so excited that it's this close. So yeah, so the yarn, oh, I didn't mention, the yarn that I'm using is Fiber Story yarn, and it's in their their Core DK base, and the colorway is called Vague. And it is going to be the most cozy, big, cushy DK weight shawl when it's all done. And this is in just a bag from scraps that I made several years ago. Okay, so that is it. That's it for works in progress. So for Hello Lovelies this week, I have a couple of things to show you. Several things actually. The first is I have been, as we've talked about, I've been reorganizing and decluttering and really working on, with my studio in the garage, really focusing on getting other spots in my house clean and more efficient. And that involved the sewing room as well. So one of the things that meant was getting rid of a ton of scraps. And I contacted Erica from the Scrappy Thread. She, way back when she was first starting and opening up her shop, she sent a bag for review and for giveaways. And she makes beautiful, beautiful things. And I know that you all know about her shop. But I contacted her and said, I have so many scraps, and I know that your thing is using all of the scraps. And she was the receiver of a lot of my scraps. She purchased the shipping for them. But anyway, that doesn't matter. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, she ended up with a lot of my scraps, which is so fun because a lot of the things that I've seen her making lately have been from fabric that I have used over the last 3 or 4 years. which is just so fun. And as a thank you, she sent me one of her, I think this is called a flat sack. I'm almost positive, but they are out of fabrics that have, none of these went together in any of the projects, but they look so good together. And that's what I love. Like it's so fun to see somebody else's brain like put things together. So this is just a little thank you that she sent me, and it's so beautiful. This is like a little notions bag, and opens up. Everything is there, and it's flat and nice and neat. It's got these little pull tie things like here so that you have something to hold on to as you're opening it and closing it, which is brilliant. It's got a little zipper pull button. But I love this. So the scrappy thread, let me show you that. So thank you so much, Erica. And her shop updates are wildly popular. They sell out so quickly when she announces them. I think she has them every Sunday morning at 9 a.m., maybe 9 a.m. Central. So you definitely need to go take a look and get on her alert list. So that was just the sweetest little thank you present. Totally unexpected and awesome. The next item that I purchased is, again, from This Handmade Life, Olivia. She, like I mentioned, has been working with makers and making beautiful, beautiful kits and things. And this one was like, I knew instantly that I had to have this. The bag is what did me in. And it's, oh my gosh, it's going to be such a dream to use. It's that same size like I love. Just a very small, one skein, perfect size. And this fabric is so dreamy. The colors in it are so beautiful. I love it. So Olivia made the bag, and then she collaborated with, I want to get the name correct, the Blackberry Ridge. And it is quite possibly one of the sweetest logos I've ever seen. And so in the kit came the bag. I added, this was an add-on, but isn't this beautiful? And this needle gauge with the bee. I love bees. And then it came with a stitch marker that has a butterfly on it. I don't know if that's gonna show up, but it has a butterfly, and then the yarn that came with it, you guys. Oh my gosh, I swear this feels like it has cashmere in it too. It is so soft. I don't know, whatever she washes it in. So this is again from the Blackberry Ridge. And this main colorway is so beautiful. It's called Thistles and Thorns, I think is this main color. And then the two coordinates are called Woodland and Sea Glass, which are perfect. Absolutely perfect for this. So I was excited to have a new dyer to try. Excited to get some colors that are a little bit out of my wheelhouse. So that is one thing that I got. Okay, so the last couple of things that I got, I purchased issue 5 of Lina magazine. As usual, it is so stunning. This may be my second favorite issue. I could see myself making every single project in this. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. As a consumer, it's just beautiful. As a business owner myself, I look at this and like I dream of how can I make Suburban Stitcher yarn look like this, like photography wise. I mean, it's just so, it's so beautiful. The things in particular that I really love in this episode, in this book, I love this pattern, Midsummer Rose. Yeah. Gorgeous, enormous lace weight shawl. That's totally up my alley. This sweater, Nutkin, I think it's in DK weight and I want to cast it on right now. I mean, it just looks so, I love the details. I love everything about it. The interview, oh, these socks. I would totally make these socks, and I don't even like making patterned socks, but they speak to me. The interview with Isolde Teague was amazing. What else is in here that I loved? The interview with Twisted Finch was so beautiful. This sweater I like, but I don't think I would make it. The Scandinavian Spring, it's all knit out of mohair, like just solid mohair. It's beautiful, but I think it would be super practical for me. Oh my gosh. This shawl by Vera. Gorgeous. I would make that. All of these recipes look amazing. The cover pattern that I don't think actually I know, I don't think like really I would ever really make it, but I love it so much, but it would be the grossest, most unflattering thing on me ever. But like, this is definitely one of those where, can I order the lifestyle and the body along with the pattern and yarn, please? Thanks. But this cover pattern that's called Lotta, and it's a wool dress. So you can see her. Well, isn't that model so beautiful? But on a very hippie girl like me, there would have to be some major dieting. No, some major like pattern. I would have to make it a lot smaller here. It would have to go out a lot on the bottom, but then it has ribbing as the bottom thing. So then it would end up looking like I was wearing like a bubble dress, which I just don't think would be cute. Like, I think it's beautiful. I just don't think it's the pattern for Diane. But I want it to be the pattern for me so badly because it's so pretty. And then this wrap by Suzanne Summer, Elevate, is gorgeous. Oh, there's more patterns. Koru. There's just too many things. I mean, literally, this is like issue 1 for me, where every single page I turn is a new pattern that I would absolutely make and love. So I'm very, very excited by this issue number 5. So go get it if you haven't. And then the last thing that I got is this gorgeous Fade by Labiana May. And this is, I bought this from the Isolde Teague online store, specifically for her pattern that is coming out in a few weeks. That's a mystery knit along, and I think it's 8 weeks long. And it uses these exact yarns. And the reason that I was compelled to get these was because, 1, I love the colors. 2, I love Isolde's shawl patterns, like, so much. I've made both of her Find Your Follow Your Arrow, I guess. Follow Your Arrows. Back in the day, I did those as mysteries. I loved both of them. I'm very, very excited. I've always wanted to be in her shawl club, but I've just never done it. But I always love the designs. And when I went to go to her shop, these were still available. And I will say that she has some of the fastest shipping from overseas. She lives in Edinburgh, right? Scotland? I'm almost positive. Anyway, she has some of the fastest shipping from the Europe as any shop that I've ever worked with. So yeah, so that is it. Lastly, I have some shop news. One is, again, suburbanstitcher.com is the only way. No more Etsy. Suburbanstitcher.com is all things Suburban Stitcher. That's where blog posts with episode links and show notes are. That is where the shop is. That is where info about events and every single thing possible Suburban Stitcher is all on suburbanstitcher.com. One of the things I'm most excited for that's a brand new product is my enamel pen. And I did enamel pens that are my new logo. So it has that beautiful knit stitch background with the SS for Suburban Stitcher. And of course, it is in glitter. I'm going to take this out of this thing so you can see it. It is in glitter enamel. I love this so stinking much. A couple of things that I want to say about these pens is the first, okay, trying to get it where there's not a glare, and it's really hard to do that. That's totally glared. Okay, let's see if that'll focus right there. It probably won't. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell from here, but it is flat. Like, it's totally flat. I got what's called the Cloisonne enamel pens, and it's like a jewelry finish. So it is not ridged or three-dimensional like many other enamel pens are. I wanted this to be super shiny and super special. So yeah, that's why I did that. Also, I added the glitter because glitter enamel is amazing. But oh my gosh, I'm just so happy with this. The gray to mauve fade in the knit stitches and the glitter SS. I love it. So these are in the shop and ready to ship and beautiful. They are about the size, they're 1 inch circumference or 1 inch in diameter. So it's about the size of a quarter. And they're stunning. So those are there. And as usual, I ship, if you can receive mail, I will ship it to you. The other thing that is new and noteworthy in the shop is I have collaborated with Prairie Girl Susie for her new design that just came out this week. It is called Evanesce. And she used, both of her samples used my yarn. The large version of the shawl uses 3 skeins of Suburban Stitcher yarn. Her pattern used Cowl, Weight Walker, and Daenerys. And this is on my sock base, 360 yards. So that's one set. I think on the website I called it Teal and Black. And then the second sample that she made used my singles, which is only 400 yards. So she wanted to have a version, each size depending on, you know, whatever size fingering weight yarn you have. You can make it, but her sample used these 3 colors. And this is Sari Silk, Dandaya, and Darkest Night. So I'm really, really excited about that pattern. It's a beautiful, oh my gosh, I keep dropping all the yarn. It's a beautiful textured shawl. that has short rows and texture and stripes and amazing things. So these are in the shop. It is a kind of a 2-week turnaround. I have a few kits that are ready to go now, but just know that it is a true pre-order and there is a little bit of a lead time for me to get it to you. I have Zombie Knitpocalypse Retreat coming up in about a week and a half. I'll be leaving for that, which is so hard to believe. I am vending there, so that is why suburbanstitcher.com has not had as many shop updates, because I am prepping for ZK, but there are still many things in the shop right now and lots of things that you can combine to make shawls and sweaters and beautiful projects. So please message me if you have questions about colors. I'm happy to help. The best way to get a hold of me is to email me, Diane, D-I-A-N-N-E, at suburbanstitcher.com is my email address, and that is always the best way to get a hold of me if you have issues or questions. And yes. The last thing that I want to say is shop news, but it's a little bit of a, if you're still here, if you're still watching, then I'm assuming that you're my friends. Growing a business is super hard. It's super hard. And in the last several months, I've obviously grown and have a brand new studio. I have several amazing designers that are working with my yarn and or advertising me as pre-sale options for other designs that they have, and I just cannot be grateful. Could not be more grateful. I'm just honestly so thankful. That's the good side, right? Is working with great people. The bad side of getting bigger is that while it's great because you're expanding your audience, I have definitely gone outside of my podcast friends and family audience to the knitting world that didn't know Suburban Stitcher as Diane, the podcaster. And with that has come some challenges for me as far as people understanding me, I guess. So what I want to say is, and I feel like I can say this for other businesses as well, is we all do the best we can. We very often are single person operations, and while we would love to have a million kits ready to ship the instant we put them out there, that's not always possible. Everyone operates their business differently. For some people, they are only ever ready to ship, and that's amazing. And for some people, they are only ever pre-order. I do want to say that if I say something is a pre-order, and I thought this was sort of universally understood, but maybe it's not. Pre-order in my shop, and my understanding of a pre-order is pre-ordering it. It is not a ready-to-ship item, and there is a lead time, meaning there is a wait period until it will be shipped to you. So it's dyed to order / pre-order. It's kind of interchangeable in my brain. The issues and comments that I had from a couple of people that were very upset with me were in their, I guess, interpretation of what pre-order meant. So I want to apologize to anyone that misunderstood. If you purchased yarn for any in this last round of pre-orders that I've had, or if you've had it in the past and felt disappointed, I apologize. Anything that says pre-order or dyed to order in my shop means that it is not ready to go out the door immediately. And the description will always have the amount of weeks that it will take to be put in the mail to you. So it might say 2 to 3 week turnaround time, which means that it will take me 2 to 3 weeks to dye all of the orders that are coming in. And then as soon as it's ready, it will go to you. So again, I apologize if that was confusing to anyone. I will do my best to have that more clearly laid out in the future. I don't like receiving nasty emails from people that are disappointed. It breaks my heart because I pour so much of what I am into this all the time, and I don't like to disappoint people because it feels like I'm a disappointment. So anyway, all of that to say, growing pains are part of the thing, and I'm so grateful to everyone who has been my champions and cheerleaders and customers and friends and all of you lovely stitchers out there. I'm just so grateful. So I will keep working harder and doing my best to get better, and I am so thankful that y'all are along for the ride. Have a lovely week, and I will see you soon. Bye. And that cowl will end July 31st, or whatever the last day of July. I am the worst, and I know Sally and Alan are laughing at me right now. Zip it. But June is 30, July, 30 days has September, April, June, and November. So all the rest have 31, as the song says. So July has 31 days. 31 days.